Ali Allah, Madad Farma, Ya Maula, Ya Nur Maulana, Shah Karimul Sani Hazima, Ya Maula, Ya Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, without you we are nothing, Maula. It is all your mercy, Maula. We are surrounded by your mercy, Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, Ya Maula Meherban. With your mercy, we are here, Maula. We are talking or we are listening, Maula. It is all your mercy. It is all your life, Maula. Be the light on the tongue, Maula, so Nachis can speak, Maula. Ya Maula, be the light in the ears of friends so they can listen, Maula. Ya Maula, be the light in our hearts, Maula, so these beautiful words of your guidance, Maula, take roots in our hearts. And Maula, we become truly obedient with conviction, Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, Ya Maula Meherban, help us, Maula, help us. अली अल्लाह तू ही तू है, 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 अली अल्लाह तू ही तू है. Pir Sabza Ali in 1946 took this farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah of calling Pir Shah, calling Imam as Pir Shah, and the Talimat of Ali Allah in the Badakhshan belt. And Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, we as Ismaili Jama'at, we recognize Imam as the Noor of Allah. Therefore, he is Ali Allah. And that's how we say, Ali Allah tu hi tu hai, 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 Ali Allah tu hi tu hai. Khudam Ta'ala in Quran says that call me with my beautiful names, Asma'ul Husna. So we as Ismaili Jamaat, we call him with his beautiful names. Sometimes we say, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. It is his attribution we call him with. So there are different ways of calling him. And we just heard Karim Sahib doing such beautiful zikr with all different names. Ya Rizwan, for example. When we call him with his different and beautiful names, we are actually staying in remembrance, falling in love with Imam, and through remembrance, our hearts find satisfaction. And it is part of remembrance that we are gathered here in this Ilmi Majlis to understand Imam's Parameen, to reflect, to dive deep into it, to be able to take the pearls of wisdom Imam is giving in his Parameens, so we can become truly Farman Bardar, truly obedient of Imam. So Alhamdulillah, let me share my screen. So this is the Farman number 10th, April 4th, 1893. Haq Maulana Dhani Salamat Datar Sarkar Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah Hadri Imam-i Farmavi. Salawat Paro Allahumma Salli ala Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad. And we were supposed to start here. Zahiri માં તમે તમારી આંખોથી ખુદાને જોઈ શકતા નથી, પણ તમે વાતું તો ખુદા સાથે કરો છો, જેથી આની શકે કે જ્યારે ખુદાની હુજૂરમાં જે જાય ત્યારે ઘણી ખુશીથી અને ખુશાલીથી અને ખુશી થઈને જાય. In this paragraph, Imam is saying that physically we do not see Imam. Physically, whenever we have physical didar of Imam, at that time we see him. And after that, we don't see him. But very interestingly, today's zikr is Wahuwa ma'akum aina ma kuntum. Wherever you are, he is there. Meaning, he's always with us, he's always watching us. He sees us. but we don't see him. So Imam in this paragraph is saying that physically we may not see the Imam, but wherever we do our zikr, giryazari, our dua, tasbih, we are actually we are speaking to him. Hope is that we would have conversation with him. We talk and he talks, but we are normally speaking to him. And Imam says that when you are going to speak to your Lord, you need to go in his presence with happiness. Imagine if somebody is always complaining, there is no gratitude, there's always complain, whining. People will not like those people. We need to have positive energy and positive feelings. So Imam is saying that whenever you come to his darbar, when you speak to him, you just do not speak to him about, negativity or complaints. Why? Because as humans, when we stay in that attitude of negativity, then we always will see things negatively. Now, it is not that we don't have difficulties in our worldly life. We do go through lots of difficulties. But when we are believers, we believe that our Imam is the Mushkil Kusha and he is solver of all the difficulties. The attitude we should have should be positive. The way Imam says that struggle is man's duty, but the defeat or victory is in the hand of God. That attitude helps us to succeed, to have positive outlook on life. When we are speaking to Imam, when we are going in his presence, we are traveling to Jama'at Khana, we need to go with happiness. Happiness attracts happiness. Misery attracts misery only. So it is very important that though we are going through lots of difficulties, losses, but we always stay shukrguzar and in patience. Those who stay patient, they are rewarded. We all know these things and we need to practice this thing, and Imam is reinforcing, guiding us to do that always stay in happiness. એવી રીતે કે પોતા ઉપર ખુદા રાજી થાય, તેવી રીતે ખુશી થઈને જાય. When we are positive, when we are happy, we have attitude of abundance. And when we have attitude of abundance, we attract abundance. And that is why Imam is very clearly saying that when you behave like that, then Khuda will be happy with you. So we are seeking his happiness. When we are able to make him happy, we will definitely be happy. ઘરમાંથી નીકળી ત્યારે ખુદાનો ડર રાખી રસ્તામાં ચાલે, ખુદાનો ડર રાખી રસ્તામાં ચાલે. નાહી ધોઈ સાફ પાક થઈને એવી રીતે જાય કે જેનાથી ખુદા તેના ઉપર રાજી થાય. When we leave the house in order to go to Jamaat Khana, we need to keep khawf, fear of our Khuda in our heart. Now, why would Allah want us to fear him? Because he is Qadir Mutallaq. He is in total control. Whatever happens to us in our lives, it is his will. Though we do have free will, and with free will we make choices. But do you know that when we are in zikr ibadat, when we are in remembrance, we can change. We can change all those difficulties coming towards us, the direction of difficulties towards not us, but go other way. Due to our prayers, due to our ibadat, all those difficulties which were supposed to come to us, we can change its direction. It is possible for Mu'min Salih. But how is it possible? When a Mu'min has taqwa, khawf, fear of Lord in the heart. And if you logically think, you will be able to understand it. So let's go deep into that. When we have taqwa, meaning we remember all the time. What do we remember? وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَ مَا كُنْتُمْ. He's always watching us. When he is always watching us, we will refrain from backbiting. We will refrain from thinking bad for others. We will refrain ourselves from sinning. When we are not sinning, what we are doing? We are earning the good deeds. When we are earning the good deeds, Allah is such that he immediately rewards. Sami tomaro evo je koi no rakhe bhar, ek war sami ne aliye, sami ale so war. He never keeps anybody's, good deeds on him. Immediately he rewards them. When he immediately rewards them, what happens? Mu'min Salih elevates in spirituality. Because when a mu'min is keeping taqwa in the heart, he's refraining from doing bad deeds, definitely he's doing good deeds. When the good deeds are there, there is a reward. When there is a reward, there is Ruhani Tarakki. When there is Ruhani Tarakki, there is Didar of Imam. When there is Didar of Imam, Mu'min Salih is happy. Do you see how it is happening? It all began from keeping taqwa. Taqwa is fear of God. Normally, people have fear of people, which is false fear. Oh, what I need to do that, otherwise my friends will not like me. Or what they will say, oh, Jama'at will do this, say this or think that about me. My relatives will think about that. So I need to do this. Always have fear of people. Do not fear people because that is false fear. Majority of the times, when people are in false fear, they continue to go into pleasing people. In order to please people, we go into the situation where we are sinning. For example, if a group of people is together in Jamaat Khana, outside, family, wherever, and one starts gossiping, another starts listening because they want everybody to like them, do not want to displease or offend people. So we continue to listen. And what we are doing now in our ears, listening to all, gossiping, going into our mind, impurifying, making us spiritually ill all over our being. But we let it happen to us because we are trying to fit in with people, friends, or families. A moment never does do that. What moments does? Peer has taught us. જ્યારે થાય નિંદા ત્યાંથી ઉઠીને જઈએ. Peer has clearly taught us. Now tell me where ninda is not happening. 99% of the time, if we are aware of our surroundings, there is ninda happening. So meaning a moment is quiet and moment is keeping away from these people. Moment only seeks friendship of moments only, who will refrain from ninda. Because backbiting is going to make our being all impure and sick. When Imam says that you need to speak to him, how can we speak to Imam? How will we have that happiness in our being when we are sick spiritually? We will not be able to talk to Imam. We will not even think of speaking to Imam because we have become friends with Shaitan. So imagine, taqwa is so powerful and very important. The way Hazrat Imam gives us parami about ethics is actually taqwa. Maula Ali has said, and we studied in our book study of Book of Healing, in the chapter of taqwa, that the chief of ethics is taqwa, meaning fear of our Imam. Wahuwa ma'akum aina ma kuntum. He's watching everything. Whatever we are thinking, what we are watching, what we are saying, nothing is hidden from him. He knows everything. But what happens, we don't see him. So we forget him. We remember people around us who we are able to see. So fear of people makes us do things which is not good for our soul. So Imam is reminding us here that we need to keep taqwa in our heart. હવે તમે ખ્યાલ કરો કે જ્યારે તમે દુનિયામાં મોટા માણસો પાસે જાઓ છો ત્યારે કેવા સારા કપડા પહેરીને જાઓ છો. એ ઉપરાંતથી જાણી શકીએ છીએ કે ખુદા પાસે કેવી રીતે જાવું અને કેવા સારા કપડા પહેરીને જાવું જોઈએ. When we go and meet worldly people, big people, Jamati Amaldar or a governor or a, director, we always want to look good, impressive, because our impressions matters. Clean, pure clothes, ironed, dry clean, whatnot, perfumed and everything. Imagine how would we go in the presence of Imam? How would we go in the presence of Imam? The problem is because we don't see that Imam is right now here watching us, listening to us. He's seeing all the thoughts in our hearts. Because we don't see him, we forget him. And that is why we do stay in remembrance like this. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَ مَا كُنْتُمْ. That wherever we are, he is with us, he is watching us, he is seeing us. To remind us so we do not indulge or fall into traps of shaitan. Meaning we need to remember that whenever we are meeting Imam, so we, there's a physical action involved going to Jama'at Khana. When we go to Jama'at Khana, we have to remember that our spiritual clothes, meaning our batin, is also pure and clean. Now, when we do zikr like that, when we attend ilmi majlis like this, and we learn that Imam is present everywhere, Imam is watching us everywhere. So does it matter that when we need to be pure when we go to Jamaat Khana? Right now we are in Jamaat Khana. Imam is watching us. Are we pure in our heart and in our being? If we are impure, if we've been sinning, then we will not be able to see Imam. Those who walk on the path, eventually what happens? Their batin becomes enlightened and they are able to see the Imam. They're able to sense Imam. They're able to listen to Imam. They're able to speak to Imam. All these rewards are there for Mu'min Salih. But because we don't see him, we forget the batin, that it exists, because batin is hidden from us. Then Mola says, Khudani bandagi wakhate kapra sada saaf ane pak pehrwa જોઈએ. When we sit in bandagi, we need to wear clean, simple clothes. કપડા સાફ પહેરીને જવા માટેના ફરમાન તમે સાંભળ્યા, પરંતુ એમ નથી કે ફક્ત કપડા જ પાક પહેરે. એવું તો જાહેરની પાકીઝગી થઈ. પરંતુ બાતિનમાં પણ પાકીઝગી રાખવી અને બુરાઈને કાઢી નાખવી. એકબીજાના દિલમાંથી કીનો કાઢી નાખો અને પાક થઈને આવો. Again, Imam is listening to us, so he's telling us that you think of only purity and cleanliness of physical clothes and physical body. No, I'm not saying that. Yes, that is also important, that we wear clean and simple clothing when we go to Jamaat Khana. However, I am not just speaking about physical clothing. Mola says that I'm speaking about batin as well, that in your inner being, you need to be pure from all the sinning and bad thinking, bad thoughts about each other, backbiting thoughts or kina in our heart. All those are sins. And these sins, our peers have taught us in great detail. It's not that we do not know. But yes, it is a beautiful reminder for us to not be doing these sins so we can talk to Imam, because that's our biggest objective of our life, that we speak to Imam in our ruhaniyat, we are able to see Imam and listen to Imam in our own being. Is it possible? 100%. Are we able to do that? 100%. This is the direction Imam is giving on how to listen to Imam. How when we talk to Imam and listen to his reply. When Imam is here right now with us, we would be able to see him as well. In this Ilmi Majlis, there is Imam and all his angels as well, sitting here listening to us. Are we able to see that? All these Batni rewards are for us. This Batni eyes is for us. It is with us. We need to be able to open it up to be able to see him. All is dependent upon us. How we are able to purify ourselves to be able to have the didar in terms of listening to Imam, in terms of seeing the Imam with our Batni eyes. Not only in Ibadat time or in Jamaat Khana, right now here, we are able to do that. Are we doing it? That's the question. ઇન્સાન જે કાંઈ ખુદાના ગુનાહ કરે છે તેની ઉમેદ મોટી રાખવી જોઈએ. યાની ખુદા રહેમ રહેમી છે. તે તો પોતાના ગુનાહ માફ કરશે. માટે તે જે ખુદાના ગુનાહ કરે છે તેને મને ધ્રાસતી નથી. કારણ કે કદાચ તે માફ કરે. ખુદા રહેમ રહેમી છે. Now, this is very important and interesting point, that we sometimes think that there are different stages of sins, right? Gunah kabira and gunah sagira, big sins and small sins. And we are not going to go into detail, but what Imam is saying, we are going to focus on that because we really need to understand Imam's Farman. Imam is saying that sometimes we think that, when we sin against Imam, those are big sins and we will not be forgiven. And people do not matter. Imam is drawing our attention that, the attribution of Imam is he is Rahman and Rahim. He'll forgive us. And Imam himself says that, I'm not fearing, I'm not worrying about the sins which you do in court of Imam. But what about sinning in terms of sinning with people? When we backbite, when we judge people, when we lie, all those sins which we do against our family, friends, Jama'at, how will we get the forgiveness? Everybody is not forgiving and kind. Mullah is forgiving and kind. Have we ever thought about that? What if people don't forgive us? Imam repeats that Khuda is Rahim Rahimi. He is Rahman and Rahim. He will forgive us. But what about people? કોઈ મોમિનનો ગુનો યાની કોઈ મોમિનના માટે કીનો રાખ્યો, યા કોઈની ગિલા કરવી, યા કોઈનું માલ લઈ લેવો, યા કોઈની औरत પર બદનજર કરવી, તેવા ઓના મોટા તેવા ગુના માટે, I'm sure this is a typo here, તેવા ગુના માટે મને ઘણી દ્રાષ્ટી છે, માટે તેનાથી તમે પાક રહેજો, કારણ કે તે પારકો હક છે, તે ગુના ખુદા માફ નહીં કરે. Now Imam is telling us, by one, that if we sin against a moment, how are we going to get forgiveness? If we have kina in our heart, if we have, in Urdu we say qasawat-e qalbi, if we have bad thoughts, negativity about somebody, if we backbite about somebody, or if we take away somebody's belongings, in business, if we do that, in family, if we do that, there are very many situations where we have to be honest and give the property, earning, or whatever it is, their things to them and not take away their things. So, ya koi ni aurat upar bad nazar karvi, even, having bad thoughts about somebody else's woman, Imam is saying. All these sins, Imam says, I'm worried about it. If you are sinning these sins, then how will you get this forgiveness? How will you become purified? Because this is all others. It is not yours. And others' sins, God will not forgive. So, very important when we are sinning, all sins are in thoughts, okay? Remember that. When we are with people, we are very civil. When I gave example that when we are with people and somebody is backbiting, we keep listening, smiling, so they like us. That is the example of false fear. We are not speaking. Somebody will say, oh, I did not say anything. I was just there. But you were listening, meaning you were supporting. That is a sin. That is a sin. So imagine that sin happening all in our thoughts. Then sinning with our tongue, doing backbiting. Majority of the times, the sins are through the thoughts because we continue to judge people, have opinion. All those thoughts are sinning. And we need to protect ourselves from sinning with our thoughts. We may become civil, and when we are outside in front of people, we may not sin with our tongue, but we may sin with our thoughts. And when we are in comfortable company, we may sin with our tongue as well. So we need to be very careful that start from where we are comfortable. A mu'min has the practice of not speaking without any reason, using less words to communicate. Less talking will help us save the breaths inside us to remember him. Easier said than done. People just talk mindlessly, and that is a way of sinning. For a moment, it is important to speak less. Not unneededly speaking is not good for us. So that is another important thing. Here, I do want to mention when Imam says that do not be having, bad thoughts about somebody else's women, it only seemingly, applies to men in the Jama'at. So are women exempted? No. So women and men, they both are supposed to be having pure thoughts about men or women. We need to be having pure thoughts. However, remember there is ta'wil as well. When things like that comes, there is a ta'wil as well. Whenever we are, thinking of woman, the first ta'wil, actually Imam gives in Kalam-i Imam-i Mubin. If we continue to read this, we will know. Imam says this example of this world is of a bad woman. This world is a bad woman. Nathari Istri, Imam says, it's a bad woman. Meaning, when we live in this world and we only have thoughts of the worldly success, worldly, people liking us, worldly fitting in, if we do that, it is as if we have our thoughts about this bad woman. And we are always in her thoughts, meaning we are always having these worldly thoughts in our mind. And of course, when we are only seeking worldly pleasure, worldly success, the ruh is neglected, the soul is neglected. We are not thinking of elevating ourselves in spirituality. So remember, when Imam is emphasizing that when we sin against people, he will not forgive. So recently in our Gujarati Farman class session, one of the friends asked a question that in a situation where parents were hurt, and it's been now 20, 30 years, 20, 30 years, and parents are still upset of one of the action child did. And this person has asked for forgiveness not once, not twice, but hundreds of times. And they are not forgiving this Mu'min friend. And now this has become so heavy on the chest of that Mu'min that it is hard to continue to live. So remember, when we are understanding this Farman, it becomes more heavier if you are here and listening. That Mola says that he does not forgive the sins which are done against people. But remember, you have asked for forgiveness. Sincerely, genuinely, you have asked for forgiveness not once, but hundreds of times. Now it is not upon you to seek forgiveness. It is their burden. You felt ashamed, embarrassed of hurting them, and you have asked for forgiveness. You are done with your action. You do not need to worry about it. However, when Imam says this, we have to truly understand, Imam is saying, Paraya haq no guna, Khuda maaf kare to, rehm rehmi na kehvaye. Ya koi ni zalim kehvaye. Paraya haq na guna, Khuda maaf kare, to te rehmi rehman na kehvaye, zalim kehvaye. If if our Imam were to forgive the sins which we did do against people, then he would be called zalim, cruel. That means that we can, hurt anybody and then go to Imam and ask for forgiveness and we will be forgiven. Did we learn, did we improve not to repeat that mistake? If we did not, then what is the forgiveness for? Meaning that we will, Mola says that he will become zalim. One is innocent and one is who's cruel, who's sinning. So if we are thinking of seeking forgiveness from Imam when we hurt somebody else, he says, I will not forgive. You did not hurt me. You hurt my mom. You go and ask forgiveness from them. If you seek forgiveness from Imam, then Imam will become zalim to forgive you and not to have this in your heart, this thought that you need to change yourself and become better, because we will never change this habit of hurting others because we have asked for forgiveness and we got forgiveness. So people think that when they go to Jamaat Khana, Tobo Tobo Taksirdar, or when they get chanta, they think they are purified from all the mistakes. No, that does not happen. Imam is clearly saying to us that I will forgive the sins which you do against me. But when you keep hurting your Jamaat, your family, your friends, your mu'minins around you, he will not forgive those sins. He will not forgive those sins. If he were to do that, then he is cruel, and he does not want to be cruel. So we really have to reflect upon this, that are we hurting or sinning against people? And we are thinking ourselves that we are very smart because they don't even know how we are hurting them, how we are cheating with them, how we are lying. People think like that because people have intelligence. Ali Mola has given us intellect. So they think they're very smart, and others will not know how they are hurting. People play games, whatever they do. Remember, everything is washed by him. And what we do when we sin, we rationalize. All this logic we were supposed to use to seek spiritual elevation. What we do, we use our intellect to sin, to protect ourselves from people's judgment and look good and nice, but in our heart it's all impurities. And then we say Tobo Tobo Taksidar, or we pray to Imam, we say dua, we pay the son, we attend Chandrat Madlas, we sit in Ibadat seeking elevation. Do we think it will happen? That is the answer. If we are not able to listen to Imam, if we are not able to see the Imam, this is the reason. This is the hindrance. Because we think we are doing everything right, we should have elevation. But we don't even know how we are cheating and lying and hurting. We really need to become self-critical and see where we are sinning. Because he says very clearly, I will not forgive the sins you do for your Jamaat. I will forgive the sins which you do against me. So we have to understand this concept that if he were to forgive everything, he will become zalim. Though Imam says, when he gives didar, and he says that when you've come here, when you return, you have all become pure. Imam does do that. When we have physical didar of Imam, it is such an elevated, opportunity for us that when we physically see Imam, he purifies us. But do we think that those bad habits are gone, broken away? No. So have we had physical didar? Yes. Have we been forgiven? Yes. But then afterwards, what happens? Because we don't have this knowledge, we have not learned, and we have not understood, we have not changed ourselves, we continue to sin again. We fall back into our old habits, and we are sinners then. And Imam is not zalim. Imam is Rahim Rahman. So he will forgive the sins which we do against him, but he will not forgive the sins which we do against people. કોઈ પણ ઇન્સાનને પાછળ ગિલા કરી હોય અથવા દિલમાં દુશ્મની રાખી હોય, કોઈ પણ બહાનાથી તેની પાસે માફી કરાવી લઈ કહેવું કે મારાથી આવા ગુના થઈ ગયા છે, હું ખુદાથી ડરું છું, માટે તો મને માફ કર. એ પ્રમાણે વર્તી તેની પાસે માફ કરાવી લ્યો. Now, Imam is very clearly teaching us also how to seek forgiveness. If you have, done backbiting, have bad thoughts in your heart, whatever we have done, we all know what we have done. Nobody needs to know. It's all inside us. Whatever sins we have done. Find a reason, find an opportunity to ask for forgiveness. But it is so interesting that whenever we have Kushali, we say this commonly, Bolya Chalya Maaf, seeking forgiveness. Because Imam is saying, find an opportunity to seek forgiveness. And we say that, seeking all the forgiveness. But that is not Imam said. Imam is saying, ke marathi awa guna thai gaya chhe. Tell that person that I have sinned like this. I have sinned like this. Do we have courage to do that? To tell that person that I've been thinking bad about you, I have been lying to you, I've been talking to you, praising you to just, please you, so I stay in your good books, but I don't like you, I judge you, I speak behind your back bad about you, I constantly am judging you. All these sins, Imam is saying that we need to verbalize it. Say it to that person. Tell me, are we able to do that? This is a very, important expectations from Mu'minins. What is the easy way? Tell me. Not to sin. Not to sin. But if we have sinned, we have to seek forgiveness. We have to seek forgiveness. How do we go about it? We have to find an opportunity to truly come clean and say, I am guilty. I am guilty. I am remorseful, and I seek forgiveness. Otherwise, this slate will not be clean. Do you know when our soul comes? I think it is mentioned in Ginan, Farman, as well as in Quran. So let me give you an example that when our soul comes, it is pure as if it is white. But all the sinning, it all becomes black. And in Farman and in Quran, Maula Imam Sultan has mentioned Quranic words saying that on the day of judgment, there will be people with white faces and there'll be people with black faces. Black faces, meaning black soul. All those sins which we have done, the white, pure soul which we had received from Imam, it is all blackened with the sins. And we don't even have realization. So on the day of judgment, literally there'll be people who will be looking all black because the physical body will be gone. It'll be all spiritual body, but it'll be all black, and others will be white and shining with the light. And not only that, beautifully in Quran says that we will be able to see each other, white and black, because we all are together. You all will be able to see me and I'll be able to see you because we will all be together. But then those who are black, they'll be behind this gate, and all the white will be towards this gate, able to see each other. Those who are this side will be say, oh, please share your light. So our blackness goes away and we also become light and pure like you. But it will not happen at that time. They will not be able to do that. It can be done here when we are physically alive. We can share from each other's light. We can learn knowledge. We can get guidance. We can get understanding. We can purify ourselves in this life. Not afterwards. Not afterwards. It is only this physical body we have been given. The way Peer says, Man ka janam ratan hai tu kahe ko khota hai. This physical being, this physical life has been given to us actually to elevate further in the journey, to do more purification than what we had come, to earn more. Instead, what we do, we fall into trap of this worldly life, become the friends with Shaitan, and we continue to sin. So Imam is telling us that whatever sins we have done, we really have to, come clean and express whatever sins we have committed against other and let them know and seek forgiveness. And then remember that embarrassment, that ashamed feeling, and don't repeat those sins. Do not repeat those sins. So it is very important that you remember, that we all remember that not to be sinning like that. बाद मौलाना हासिमा में फरमाव्યું તમે 3 વખત દુઆ પઢો છો, તમે 3 વખત પંજો આપો છો, તેની મતલબ કાંઈ સમજો છો કે ખાલી પંજો આપો છો? Imam says that you say dua 3 times a day, and in dua you do shahjudidar. You give your panja, your hand to each other. Do you understand the meaning of it or just shake hands? તમે પંજો આપો છો તેની મતલબ એ છે કે હવેથી અમે કીનો રાખશો નહીં. When we give, Shahaju Didar, we have all learned Didar and all important elevated meanings. The simplest meaning of Shahaju Didar is that when we are giving hands to each other, I will keep my heart pure for you. I will not have bad thoughts for you. I will not backbite against you. I am purifying myself through this Shahaju Didar with you, and I will not sin against you, because you and I are one. When we join hands, it is a physical act, but in spirituality, truly we are one from one light. We all are one Jama'at. Why that one? Because we are one in light. So giving hands to each other is saying that I recognize that light which is in you and which is in me, and we are one. I will not sin against you. You are me and I am you. You are me and I am you. It is that level of closeness. How does that happen? When we truly see the light in each other. For that step to come, we have to first say, I will not sin against you. I will not sin against you. Do we judge people sitting in Jama'at Khana? How is she sitting? What is she wearing? What is he doing? Why is he walking like that? All these thoughts are bad. In Jama'at Khana, we keep our eyes closed and remember. When we see Mu'mineen doing the service of Imam, beautiful beings, beautiful souls, not judging them, not judging them. Apre ek dil thiya. Literally, Imam says that now we have become one heart. When we did Shahjudida, we became one heart. Apro dil saaf thiyo છે અને આપણે પંજે ભાઈ થયા છીએ. આપણે પંજે ભાઈ થયા છીએ જેથી આપણે કીનો નહીં રાખી. Meaning, when we give Shahjudidar, we shake hands, meaning we have become very pure. We have become one heart. We are brothers and sisters, and we will not keep any bad thoughts. Now, take one step further and look into today's time. In 2023, with COVID, we don't even shake hands, meaning only looking at each other suffice. We are doing Shahjudidar. I hope you remember, we do Shahjudidar. It doesn't even require us to touch each other. Seeing each other, having the didar of each other, seeing the soul in each other, loving with only our eyes, our thoughts, we see the soul. We do not need physical acts to purify ourselves or to come close to the Nur of Imam. Physical is just Shariat, it's practice, giving us signs so we remain mindful by physical actions. But it is all in batin. And in today's time, with COVID, we are forced to understand that because we were not understanding. So we have COVID. All these, afat, all these mushkilat, difficulties come with teachings for us. And what is the teaching? Wake up, see the batin in each other. So we don't even touch each other anymore. We don't do Shahjudida. Are we missing? Are we losing? Not at all. We are elevating. How? Because we are understanding the power which is within us, in our soul. That without even touching my, Jamati member, my family, my friend, I am able to see the soul. I am able to become one with her or him just by act of Shahjudida. There is no touch involved. There is no touch involved even. Physical does not matter. It is all batin. But that power which is within us of light, we got to recognize it to be able to become one with the souls which we see in the physical body. But we are able to see beyond that physical body and see the soul. We will only be able to achieve that when we have no bad thoughts in our heart. આવી રીતે જ્યારે તમે પંજો લીધો કે કીનો રાખશો નહીં અને પાછળથી કીનો રાખતો તો કેટલો ગુના છે. So Imam is giving us example now that let's say we did Shahjudidar and we expressed in our heart, we said this thought that I will not think bad of you, I will not have any judgment against you. But then after the dua, we are judging and thinking and saying things about them. Then what is our status? Why did we even do Shahjudidar? Why did we even say dua if we are not sincere? What are we doing? Acting? And Imam says in Kalam-i Imam-i Mubin that, do not become like monkeys. When we say dua, just acting for the sake of saying it because, we have to say dua. So we're saying it. We don't understand it. We are not mindful. We are not staying with dua. Our actions are not pure. We are judging. Then why are we saying it? You know why? Because we are like monkeys. Monkeys, what do? Monkeys say monkey do. So they copy and they do what we have learned from our childhood. We continue to act out. We're just acting. Our mind, our thoughts are not there. Why are we doing it? Who are we fooling? Only ourselves. Only ourselves. Nobody else. So why are we even wasting our time? We need to be that critical to our being and ask those questions. Why am I doing what am I doing? What am I benefiting from it? If I'm not benefiting, Why am I doing it? And Imam says in this Farman book that, tame khoja cho. Khoja, those who are very smart people who know how to earn profit. Here we are not even earning profit, we are losing time and money going to Jamaat Khan if we are just acting out what we are doing. Why are we doing it? So remember, all these lessons are for us to remember and reflect, to improve. Then Imam says, Inshallah, આજે તમોએ આ ફરમાન સાંભળ્યા છે, હવેથી એવા ગુના ફરીથી નહીં કરશો. એકબીજા પાસે માફી કરાવી લેજો, તો તમને ખુદા મર્તબાવાળી જગ્યા આપશે. This is the conclusion of this beautiful farman, that Imam is hoping, inshallah. Can you imagine? Imam is teaching us how to think positively, how to remain positive. And he says, inshallah, with the grace of Allah, I believe that this farman has reminded you. I have taught you. I have guided you. Now, after this, you will not forget. You will not repeat those sins. You will seek forgiveness first, and then you will not, repeat these sins. Why? Why is it important to do that? So we can also get an exalted place. Martaba wali. I hope we have to remember that in Jamaat, when we see our Jamaati members, there are ranks in Jamaat. There are ranks. Everybody is not same. We generally call everybody Mu'min, but everybody is not same in spirituality level. There are some who are elevated more, and there are some who are like monkey see, monkey do. If we are wanting the elevation in our Ruhaniyat, then we need to follow these farameens to be able to get there. Now, what is this martaba wali jagya? This is the martaba, this is the rank where Mu'min can listen to Imam, have conversation. When they speak, they listen to reply of Imam. When they are living their life, they're able to see the Imam. They're able to ask questions to Imam, and Imam guides them as well. Imam comes in their dreams to guide them. They're able to listen to angels. All these are possible for Mu'min and Salih. These Mu'mineen enter into the spiritual world. They speak to Ruhanis. They're able to do all these things. How and why? Because they're elevated. Remember, we talk about fana fil Imam. When one is with Imam, are they not able to get all these rewards? They are one with Imam. If wherever we are, Imam is with us. Those who are high-ranking Mu'mineens, they are one with Imam. And Imam wants us to become high-ranking Mu'mineen. But the question is, are we following the farameens to get to that level? We may have desire, but are we following it with the actions? And Alhamdulillah, I would say that is the intention of us in the group doing 40 days zikr. So every day we are getting this new zikr to stay in remembrance so we don't sin. We become pure. It is all possible. It is the desire of Imam to elevate us in spirituality. But it has to be our desire followed by actions as well. આખી જિંદગી સુધી અગર સરકારની એક પૈસો પણ નહીં આપ્યો હોય, તેવા ગુના કરતા કોઈ મોમિનનો એક પૈસો ખાધો હોય તો તે ગુના મોટો છે. Now this is again, Imam is emphasizing that all your life, if you have been pure, very pure in giving your dasam, in giving charity, because this is the two things we have to give, dasan and then dan, right? Dan, dasan, kiji. We have to give charity as well. If we are doing that, if we are supporting Imam in his Imamat mission, number one, and paying our dues, which is dasan, in that, if you have gone, little bit here and there due to unintentional mistake, I would say. I do not want to say intentional, but can it happen? It can happen. Whatever mistakes anyone has made in, court of Imam, Imam says that there is a forgiveness because I am Rahmi Rahman. But if you have stolen any money from any Mu'min of the Jama'at, in business, in family, anything, People do funny things due to money. Inheritance, when parents die and they have money, how they are honest in giving rightful right to every sibling. If we have taken even a penny of anybody else's, that is a big sin, Imam says. That is the big sin, Imam says. Then Imam says, Khuda no paiso che, te judi babat che. It is very different when you talk of the money of Imam. It is very different. Khuda Rahim Rahimi che. He is Rahman and Rahim. Te kadaj maaf karse. Probably he will forgive. Now here I do want to emphasize, because I have received calls from friends who have not been able to keep up with the song, made mistakes in the song due to whatever reasons. Remember that we should never miss out in Imam's paying of Imam's haq. And Imam is saying that he is Rahmi Rahman. He may forgive us. Kadachit maaf kare. Not that he will forgive. Depending on our reasons, our sins, and our ways of seeking forgiveness, our ways of making up to Imam afterwards. Afterwards, how are we making up to Imam? Given all that, he may forgive us. But then Imam is comparing that with the sins against mom. If we have taken even a penny from somebody and not returned it, kept it with the bad intentions, taken away somebody's money, rightful money, their haq, Imam says that it is up to them to forgive. For momin no paiso, લીધો હશે તો મોમિન કદાચ માફ નહીં પણ કરે, કારણ કે તે રહેમ રહેમી નથી. Imam is teaching us that fear sinning, that if you take, intentionally somebody's money, and when you even ask for forgiveness, because now you are ashamed and you ask for forgiveness, what if they don't forgive you? Because everybody is not forgiving in today's world. Everybody is not wanting to elevate, because they're happy where they are monkey see, monkey do. They're happy like that. They're pleasing people and they're happy in that life of living. They don't think of hereafter. But if you have become Mu'min and if you want to be having white, soul, when you reach to the court of Imam, you got to worry. What if they don't forgive you? So it is very important for us to remember that if we are seeking the didar of Imam, if we are seeking the elevation, if we are sincerely doing our ibadat, sincerely paying the song, going to Jama'at Khana, saying our dua, and doing all what is Imam desiring us to do, but if we are not careful and we are sinning against people, what will happen to our soul? What will happen to our soul? It will be black, it will not be white. So we have to constantly think of both the aspect. One is the black self, and one is the white self, light, pure, shining. And remember, this Imam is teaching us to become during the lifetime, not after dying. Become the light during lifetime. Share that light with the Jama'at. Give the happiness. Teach abundance, the attitude of abundance. When we become like that, when we become light like that, we give happiness. We become happiness and we share happiness with Jama'at. That makes Jama'at lighter and happy. Remember, Imam wants us to be happy. When we are happy, we do ibadat bandagi with happiness. We forget about all the difficulties. We become lighter in our being. Why? Because the weight is now carried by Imam. We don't carry that weight on our shoulder. We are light and happy. When we do that, it becomes so easy to elevate in Ruhaniyat, to see Imam, to listen to Imam, to talk to Imam. It is all possible. These rewards are for Mu'mineen, and it is within our reach. Ruhaniyat is within our reach. But we need to abide by the directions Imam has given us. With conviction, we have to follow these faramins. These are crux, this is basics, these are foundation. Ethics, taqwa is our foundation. If we are sinning, there is no way we can elevate. Whatever we do, it goes wasted. It is as if we have a saving account. I always give this example that we have a saving account because we think of hereafter, right? And we are saving, but then there is a hole behind that account and somebody is constantly stealing that money. And we are thinking, we are imagining, oh, I'm happy, I'm saving money. But there is nothing, it's empty account. Imagine when we physically work and we save money for our retirement, when we will not be working, how are we going to pay our bills? How are we going to eat? So we plan and we think and we make sure that our money is there. So when we are old, we are taken care of. We are very mindful of that money. Are we mindful of this money? Because we don't see it, right? We don't see it, so we forget. This is the opportunity. Those who are here, they are truly blessed. They are truly blessed because why are we doing this? The reason we are doing this, so we stay in a reminder, we get this reminder from the Hidayat of Imam and become mindful of this account, which is invisible, but it is there. It is there. And if we are saving account, if this account is safe and it is not being stolen, there is no hole in it, the profit reaches us during this lifetime. We get the light in our being. And then this light helps us to connect to Imam. Connect to Imam in a way that we are able to have conversation with Imam. We are able to see the Imam. We are able to see the didar of Imam. All this is possible within our reach. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah, shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Ji.
Thank you, Niamat Sahiba, once again for a wonderful session. When you talked about taqwa, initially taqwa is a word which we don't normally hear, but since that, after that, when you explained what exactly taqwa is, I'm sure everybody would have realized that it is something that we have all been taught in terms of how to lead our life. It was very interesting that you explained the different types of sins that we all do as such, and the fact that sins against other human beings are bigger than sins towards the Imam, because the Imam is generous and he will forgive us, but we have to go and ask for forgiveness from the individual that we have sinned against, which is very difficult, as you explained. So I was wondering, would it, if we all as a Jama'at took it upon ourselves to forgive everybody else without them actually coming and asking for forgiveness, would that help us all in terms of progressing?
Beautiful question, beautiful thought. You know, those who walk on the path of ilm wa amal, you know, when they seek knowledge, they realize that they do not want to keep anybody's, hurt in their heart. They want to forgive them because it's a burden. If somebody hurts us, let's say hurt me, if you are in this mindfulness life that they are trying to hurt this physical being, because they see you physical, they don't see the soul. So they hurt. But in order for me to get rid of that, burden, you continue to forgive because you feel that, you notice things, you're human, you feel that, yeah? So you let go of that, pain, you forgive them, you unburden yourself. However, that person who has not understood how they are sinning, they have not asked for forgiveness. They have not gotten the forgiveness, Karim. You need to understand this. So there is a responsibility both the sides. So if we, let's say here in Jama'at Khana, right? If somebody passes away, Mukhi Sahib says that karme ne vachne, whatever they have said or actions or, forgive them. And we say, Ameen, we forgive them. But it was Mukhi Sahib who asked for forgiveness on behalf of that person who passes away. What is Imam's direction? What is Imam asking us? If it were to be that easy, why do we worry? For us, each one of us, Mukhi Sahib will ask for forgiveness from the whole Jama'at. Let's continue to sin. That would be the result. That would be the logical thinking, right? That is why we need to be critical. So yes, at yourself, Karim, when you say that when you forgive everybody who hurts you, that is your progress. That is a sign of your progress, your elevation, your lightheartedness, your forgiving and kind self. But what about those who are sinning against you? Have they really understood that they have sinned and they have asked for forgiveness? If they have not asked for forgiveness, how will they be forgiven? Right? So it is both ways. Those who are sinning, they also have to realize. So the objective of us discussing this, understanding this Farman, is both ways. We all are seekers. We willingly today forgive anybody and everybody who have hurt us. But that does not change those who are not here and understanding that how they have sinned others. And if they don't learn, if they don't change their behavior, they will continue to hurt others, meaning us. For example, just take an example. Somebody is hurting us, they'll continue to hurt us. They'll continue to hurt us. We did not go and tell them, how did you hurt us? Because we don't need to. They have to realize that they are hurting. Anybody who's cheating, lying, and gossiping behind back, they think they are very smart people. They are very intelligent, and we will not know what they are doing. What they are saying, that I'm intelligent versus you stupid. That's what they are saying. But tell me, are we not intelligent? So it applies both ways. But yes, your thought, your question is very valid, that we want to unburden ourselves, so we forgive them.
Subhanallah. Thank you for clearing that up. Friends, if you have any questions or comments, please come forward.
If you don't have question, yes, somebody is asking, Ji.
Yari Madad.
Malali Madad.
Niamat Saiba, sometimes the hurt is so deep that, you do forgive, but it's hard to forget. So how do we deal with that?
Very good question. Very, a question which is very, normally I hear from friends very many times, that yes, it is hard to forget. Now the question here is, there's levels of learning, and in the physical life, physically when you go and seek understanding of this, forgive and forget, it's not easy to forget, and the hurt is deep, the way you are saying. So number one, the reason, there are levels of answers I have to give. So first, let's start from the worldly level. Whenever we are forgiving others, we are expecting ourselves to become clean slate, like immediately change our being to what we were before that hurt which was given to us. And there are very many types of hurt. Somebody being abused in the life, trauma, there are so many things which happens to people, and it is not easy to forget. So yes, you're absolutely correct. In the physical world, I would say that we have to seek all the physical help to recover from the trauma. For example, I'm taking drastic example of abuse. If somebody's been abused and they have gone through it for years, it is not easy to overcome that kind of level of trauma. I do recommend that we need to seek physical help, untangle all what has happened to us, seek therapy, access, in our institution, they do help out for mental health. It is very important to seek help to untangle all that hurt, those thoughts, those trauma which is within our being, so we can heal ourselves. It is very important to physically seek healing, number one, because if we don't do that, what does Shaitan do? Shaitan will continue to remind us, because it is a wound. It is a wound which is not healing. We verbally say we have forgiven, but that wound will continue to, Shaitan will continue to touch it. And when it is being touched, it reminds us. It reminds us, then we have those bad thoughts, that this person did this to me, that person did that to me. How can we forget? Because we have not taken care of that wound. We are physically living in this world. And sometimes we think that if I do zikr ibadat, girya uzari, all will be forgotten. Temporarily it will be. Temporarily it will be. But because there is a wound, in today's time, with today's education, I recommend person, whoever is in that kind of level of trauma, which is, abuse, or I don't want to say names, there are traumas that happens in this physical life. One needs to seek physical help, therapies, which helps to untangle what is going on. And let me go a little bit detailed so it is understood. For example, one of the friend came in, her husband abused her all her life, and now she's suddenly awake and realizing that she's been a doormat and she does not like living. She wants to die, she wants to kill herself. And of course, as a Smileys, we know suicide is not the way. So of course, I recommended her to go for therapy. In therapy, you are expressing all what has happened to you. When you talk of Jama'at and when you talk of talking to each other, it comes into the category of backbiting. That means you cannot talk to anybody. How do you express? How do you heal? Because it has to be verbalized, it has to be processed, and healing has to happen. How do you do that in the safe environment? And when you do that with your friends and families, not only that you're backbiting, but you can also make their thoughts against that person. And it is a very difficult situation, tricky situation, that you will extend your trauma to this other person because sharing your pain, now you have given this pain to other. We need to find a neutral party, which is therapy, and let them know how you've been hurt, everything, every pain. It has to come out. And it has to be processed and helped through it with knowledge of therapy, psychologists and psychiatrists helping us to heal from that trauma. It is needed. Mental health is very, very important. Do not think of religion as a pacifier. Do not think of religion as a pacifier. People come into religion when they are tested, yes. But the test, that pain, the way you're saying, how do I forget? Because I can't forget. It is hard. The complete forgiveness, that complete healing will happen when all the trauma has come out, that wound has healed outside and then inside. When we come to tariqa, religion, seeking help from all the pain we have experienced, we are seeking religion as pacifier. Put a plastic on that wound, but that wound doesn't go away. That wound doesn't go away. So it is very important that we need to seek physical help to overcome the trauma in our lives. Otherwise, we will never be able to overcome what has happened to us. So please remember that in today's time, the way we are able to access all this Tawili ilm, all Faramins, Ginans, Quran, and learn about Tawil. Similarly, in the physical aspect of knowledge, there is a big progress. And we can seek healing, benefit from physical progress of the knowledge. So mental health is a very important aspect. Those who have been through such traumas need to seek physical help. Now come to this side. With the physical help, we need to do abundance in zikr or ibadat. And one of the important way of healing when we have been hurt like that is actually through Girya Huzari. Girya Huzari. When we are shedding tears in recalling of that pain and seeking Imam's mercy and courage from Imam to cope, to help us forgive them. Because whenever we get reminded, the way you said we don't forget, meaning when we get reminded, we're again sinning because we're thinking bad for them because they are the ones who hurt us. So we continuously shed tears whenever that attacks come, because Shaitan assesses where we are weak and Shaitan will attack there only. He will touch that wound. So we start thinking bad thoughts. And that's why the way you beautifully said that it is so deep inside, because that wound is not healed. When Shaitan knows where to attack us, so we continue to sin. When that is happening, we do know in religion, we do zikr in abundance and Girya Huzari. It is only through shedding tears that the pain of those trauma will be healed, and the courage will come from Imam, which will help us to fight with Shaitan. that you don't have power over me to continue to touch where I hurt the most and make my wound seep. And I feel this pain because I'm seeking physical help and I'm seeking spiritual help. Now you cannot bother me. That is the way, my dear friend. That is the way to deal with this pain. Now, trauma from trauma, so you need to understand if it is a pain which is not healing for years, meaning there is a wound which is there is a trauma. It has to be healed physically and it has to be nurtured and taken care of spiritually as well. We are living in this physical world. We have our life physically, spiritually, intellectually. We need to seek knowledge, physical knowledge, spiritual knowledge. We need to do zikr ibadat, and we need to physically seek therapy, physically stay in remembrance, physically sit and do Giriya Hozari. We are living at 3 levels. Treatment also applies at 3 levels. So I did go into detail because it is important for us to understand. I hope that you got what you were seeking.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Niamat Saiba.
Shukran.
Friends, anybody got other questions or comments? It doesn't look like there are any other further questions or comments. Niamat Saiba, thank you once again for a wonderful session.
Thank you.
And friends, thank you for joining this session. And Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad. Thank you, friends.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.